Are you both on the same page about ADHD? Some people don't believe ADHD is real, which means if one parent believes it and one parent doesn't, that's immediately going to cause a lot of challenges, that he would want to do the exact same thing. And so I would send him things. I think that there's a lot of shame and worry about being different and their child being different. I think for the most part.
All right, so we're moving on. Being a mom who raises ADHD kids, when you feel mentally tired or stressed, what do you do to feel better? Do you have any self-care tips that work well for you?
I want to take a minute to say self-care is not grocery shopping or taking a bath. If I'm alone and I'm by myself and I'm checking off a task from my to-do list, that's not self-care. Self-care is something that brings you joy. So it's something that's either a hobby or a passion, or maybe it's going for a coffee with your girlfriends, but it's something that is not related to day-to-day managing your life for your family or a job or whatever. So first of all, figure out what your self-care is and then make sure you prioritize it. Sometimes it's really hard. You're exhausted. Life is busy. Your child needs you a lot more than other children maybe. Think of it this way. You are giving all this energy to your family, to your child especially, all the time. And if you are empty, you will have nothing to give. So think of it that way. You need to fill your bucket. You need to fill your energy with your self-care. And then you will have something to give when your child or your family needs you, right?
Exactly.
And so make sure you prioritize it, even if you have to do baby steps. 10 minutes, go for a walk, whatever your passion is, like find a way to do it in a small chunk, and then you can slowly build it up, maybe once a week and then make it twice a week, but prioritize it. It's important.
That's a good advice. I just love that part, finding our joy.
Find your joy.
Yeah, because sometimes I start just grocery shopping or scheduling again, whole family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, self-care is not organizing the family or doing things off your to-do list.
Yeah, we have to keep in mind, right?
Yes.
Okay, so next question. Do you have any advice on how to keep a good relationship with your husband while raising an ADHD child? What works for you both?
Yes, it's such an incredibly big question. And I know that the strain of having an ADHD child is high. And it definitely can affect your relationship. If you are co-parenting a child that has more needs and takes more energy. So it also, I want to call out as well, because ADHD is highly hereditary, it's likely that one or both of the parents also has ADHD.
Absolutely.
Which means that co-parenting a high needs, someone that needs a little bit more time and energy, while you yourself are struggling with life, emotions, whatever it is, and your own energy levels, that can also add into the mix as well. So it's definitely going to be a challenge. So a couple of things. One is, are you both on the same page about ADHD? Some people don't believe ADHD is real, which means if one parent believes it and one parent doesn't, that's immediately going to cause a lot of challenges, because all of the strategies and things you want to do will be so much harder if you don't believe the same thing. So if you are able to find common ground of what you do, maybe you don't believe in ADHD, but you can agree on the struggles that your child is having and then stay focused on that. Or take classes together. So instead of one taking a class and then trying to feed information back, maybe do an online class together or watch a YouTube video together. That way you're both learning the same thing and you're both going to digest it and talk about it together. The next thing too is expectations. So I will say from personal experience, because I have ADHD, I can hyperfocus. I jumped in with 2 feet to learn everything about ADHD and quickly became very knowledgeable. And I put that expectation on my husband that he would want to do the exact same thing. And so I would send him things that he wouldn't always have time to watch, or, and I would get frustrated because I wanted him to care as much as I did about the learning. That's unfair because He's allowed to do what he wants to do to support our child. And so his approach is different to learning and watching videos. He relies on me. Like again, helps.
Yes.
But he knows that I'm going to do all the learning and share back. And he's just going to support everything that he knows that I'm learning about and support in the other ways, right? But it's unfair of me to just expect him to care about it the way I care about it. So expectations of each other is also going to cause some strain.
Yeah.
So just making sure that the communication's there and that trust that you both love your child and that you both want the best and you're just going to go about it in different ways.
Different ways.
Yeah. And how you support. So if my child's having a tough day at school, I can get pretty emotional about it.
Yes.
But he's a little bit more regulated. So maybe he's the best person to step in and support with some challenges or some social struggles from school during the day because I would be very emotional about it.
That's right.
So he's doing his part with what he's good at, and I'm doing my part with what I'm good at. This is what I'm going to do. What do you think about that? Do you want to do it with me? Or do you want to do something? I don't think I'm as good at it. I can't stay calm the way he can. So then I would ask, hey, can you do this? So it's about just talking about it instead of not talking and just expecting or hoping or wishing. Because when you do that, he doesn't know that you're expecting or hoping or wishing.
Exactly.
And he's not going to do it. And then you're upset that he didn't do it because you were expecting it. And so that's where I was talking about.
Wow.
And then the last thing is about time alone. Just the two of you without talking about the kids is really, really important as well. If you can go on a walk, if you can go on a date and talk about things other than your child, because you talk about your child a lot, probably every day, right?
Yes.
And making sure you focus on your relationship because you're still two people that are building your family together.
Yeah.
And you need to connect on other things besides the stress of your child.
So make it a rule, right?
Make it a rule. Self-care and dates. Yes.
Good. Okay, we are almost done. So in Canada, are parents generally open about telling friends or family that their child has ADHD? Or is it something they keep private?
Yeah, I would say, I think in my experience, there's still a lot of embarrassment or stigma. So there's a lot of parents that don't share. I myself am pretty open, just probably my ADHD personality as well. I'm much more open. But I find that when I open up, they'll open up to me. I think that there's a lot of shame and worry about being different and their child being different. I think for the most part, a lot of parents will still keep it. They will share with immediate family, but not necessarily with like family and friends.
So it depends on personality still, right?
Yeah. And your community as well. Like if you're the only person that has an ADHD child, or that you believe you're the only one with an ADHD child, you may not talk about it. My personal thought is your child is different. Your child may have more challenges at school or challenges with friendships. And without sharing that they have ADHD, then other people may make judgments about your child. So at least if you're able to say and felt comfortable saying, making sure that people know that it's a challenge helps everyone be more accepting, right? So, but it's a personal choice.
Yes.
Even like whether to tell your own child whether you have ADHD or not.
Yeah.
Like if you find a tribe, I call it a tribe, your community. If you can find a group of people that have children that are similar, then you feel the support and then you feel more open.
Next question. Do you have any advice for Korean moms raising ADHD kids? Are there any tips or ways of thinking that could help them?
It's a big question. There's so many things I could say, but I'm going to keep it short. Number one is if you are thinking about whether to tell your child whether they have ADHD or not, just remember their lived experience is that they know they're different. They know that things are harder for them. They know that they're struggling. And if they don't know the why, they're going to think that there's something wrong with them, or they probably already think that, or that they are not able to do what other kids are doing. So they may think they're even dumb. They're not smart, right? So by telling them that they have a different brain, like, I don't like using the word disability. I like using the word difference. They have a different brain. They learn differently. They are able to focus differently. And so if you are able to talk to them about what they are struggling with and put strategies in place, it will actually help them feel more empowered and feel more in control of their lives, so that they have things that they can do to make the work a little easier versus being stuck with everything being so hard all the time. And then the second thing is be your child's biggest cheerleader. Be the expert in your child, but also be their biggest cheerleader. There is a statistic in North America that I read that by grade 2, ADHD kids receive 20,000 more negative comments than their peers because of the fact that they are not meeting expectations and their behavior is different, right?
Yes.
So they're getting a lot of negative feedback.
That's right.
What you need to do as a parent is balance it out. You need to find every opportunity you can to balance it by talking about everything that they're doing great. And it may seem kind of weird at the beginning where you're saying, oh, great, you finished your food. Oh, amazing, you put your plate or your stuff away. You got yourself ready for school without me having to remind you. Like all the little tiny things you can see that they did great. I like to say it's like the traffic light system. If it's a green light when you're driving, you don't notice. It's green, you're going, everything is smooth sailing. You hit a red light and you remember, oh, red light, brain, I have to stop my car. That's what happens in a child's life. Everything they're doing great. They get no praise. Nobody thinks about it. They're following along, all the rules, everything's great. They do something wrong, they get in trouble. But there was like 5 or 10 things that they did right before that there's no acknowledgement. Now, in a neurotypical child, that's fine. They have their own self-motivation, intrinsic motivation. They're happy with themselves. Oh, red light, course correct, I'm good. An ADHD child doesn't remember the green lights. They only remember that red light that they got in trouble, and they feel bad about it. So if you can notice all the green lights along the way, great job, you did this, you got 9 out of 10, you helped me with this, whatever. Find anything and everything to praise. That will be, I think, really, really helpful to balance out the negative. And then the third thing I would say, based on our conversation, if your child is focused so much during the school day to contain their focus, contain their emotions, stop their body from moving, they're going to be wound up at the end of the school day. So at the end of the school day, if you can give them a release, give them something they can do that is not structured. No homework or exercise or a snack or time with mom and dad with their favorite thing to do. Less talking. Just let their body let all of that out, because some parents notice at the end of a school day their kids have the big emotions, and it's because they're holding them in all day. And if you as a parent want them to do that, great. Then give them time to just blow it off. However they want to blow it off. No structure, no rules, no talking, just give them some space.
Oh, thank you for all the advices for our Korean moms. So we're going to close the interview, and this is all for today. And I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for being part of our channel. We look forward to your next career and your journey with your daughters too.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I'll say, 감사합니다.